Good morning, brothers and sisters. We read from Heavenly Tribe Hoondok book. We reach to chapter 5, Humankind Needs Two Parents, section 6, New Horizon in History, the Marriage Supper of the Lamb, Holy Wedding of Two Parents, the Messiah, Two Parents' Words. On the day when two human beings, a filial son of God and a filial daughter of God, can stand before God as the bridegroom and bride for the first time since the creation of heaven and earth, God will say to them, "You have worked so hard to come here, seeking heaven's heart and the heart of the God even aims all the adversity on earth. He then will give his blessing to this couple and install them as the true parents who represent the incorporeal God in the physical form. Such is the cosmic banquet, the marriage supper of the Lamb. The marriage supper of the Lamb is offered based on the bridegroom and bride having become a true filial son and daughter, with the true bride having pledged herself to the will and having understood the will. From the day they receive the blessing, they become the true parents of humankind, who represent the incorporeal God in substantial form. The original human beings were not supposed to fall. They were supposed to receive God's blessing at the right time and within the right environment, become the true ancestor of humankind. But they fail to do so. Instead, they become the fallen ancestor. Thus, the good ancestor, free from the fall, should appear in front of all humankind. He is the one who can become the true father to all in the spirit world and the physical world. Christianity called this person the Lord of the Second Advent. The marriage supper of the Lamb is the banquet to which the returning Jesus comes as the true father to bring forth a woman as a true mother. This is the core truth of Christianity. The center of Christianity is Jesus, and the center of Jesus is love. The center of the Bible is also love. The center of love is the bride and bridegroom, and the center of the bride and bridegroom is the marriage supper of the Lamb. The paramount significance of the marriage supper of the Lamb is that the returning Lord and his bride receive the marriage blessing at the time of God's choosing and in the right environment, whereby they become the true ancestor of humankind who can inherit heaven and earth. Only one father and one mother must appear on earth. The marriage of the Lamb is the moment when we finally can start building on earth our lost original home. To build that home, we must have the parents and we must have brother and sister. Upon this foundation, we can propagate children, and from them will unfold the original tribe, people, nation, and the world. Then finally, the existing evil world will be vanquished. This is how the providence of restoration progresses towards the words of goodness. Sharing thoughts. Eve, born as heavenly parents' only begotten daughter, was seduced by the snake to eat the forbidden fruit, the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and fell. After she fell, she realized that her original intended husband was Adam, and she made him eat the forbidden fruit too. In the end, Adam and Eve were caught in Satan's trap and lose their position as children given to them by heavenly parent, as well as the right of true parents by which they will have governed the created world when they reach maturity. Therefore, humanity has lived waiting for unfallen, only begotten sons and only begotten daughter to appear, who can save them from the fall and perform the marriage supper of the Lamb and become the true parent. The book of Revelation in the Christian Bible allegorizes the kingdom of heaven realized through the Lord of the second advent as the marriage supper of the Lamb. Given that the book of Revelation is full of many parables and symbols, the marriage supper has been interpreted to mean various things, but most Christians today understand it to mean that Jesus is the bridegroom and the community church of his followers is the bride. In short, they understand the essence of the marriage supper of the Lamb to be the spiritual union of Jesus and the church. However, restoration refers to what Adam and Eve originally should have done. That is because husband and wife and the true parents of humanity. Hence, the marriage supper of the Lamb begins when the only begotten sons and only begotten daughters who come in place of Adam and Eve from lineages that have not fallen come to earth, become husband and wife, and start multiplying the lineage of goodness. Therefore, Jesus, who come as heaven's only begotten Son, should have found the prepared bride of heaven at the time and establish a true family in which heavenly parents' love could bear fruit. However, due to the distrust of the people who should have attended and followed Jesus, he had no choice but to end his life nailed to the cross before he could realize that will. After the fall of Adam and Eve, Jesus' death on the cross was the time when the heart of heavenly parents collapsed horribly once again. In the end, the will to find and establish Jesus' bride has to be postponed to the age of the second advent. Christianity should have fulfilled its responsibility of preparing the foundation on which the bride of the Lord of the second advent could be born, thereby creating the environment in which the ideal of true parents could be realized once again. The marriage supper of the Lamb signifies the holy ceremony by which the only begotten son and only begotten daughter, who are born as heavenly parents, true sons and daughters, without original sin, get married to each other and finally become the true parents of humanity. It is the holy wedding ceremony of the true parents who can put an end to the history of the sin that has continued since the time of Adam and Eve's fall, and give new birth to humanity as heavenly parents, sons and daughters. The ultimate purpose of the history of the fallen human beings until now has been to prepare for the manifestation of the original unfallen true parents who can save them, and to fulfill the mission of preparing for the marriage supper of the Lamb. However, in the future, history will be a historical record of heavenly humanity, newly born after receiving the blessing of the true parents who are already manifest on earth as the true parents and have performed the marriage supper of the Lamb. In other words, it will be the history of the substantial realization of the word of the original ideal of creation. As can be seen, the marriage supper of the Lamb is the day that marks the transition point at which human history can be begun anew once again. Therefore, historians of the coming generation will be able to assess human history as beings either before or after the marriage supper of the Lamb. April 11, 1960 was the day this new horizon was opened in history. It was the day of the greatest feast for humanity, on which the only begotten Son, Reverend Myung Moon, and the only begotten daughter, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, become manifested on this earth, performed the holy wedding ceremony after overcoming innumerable difficulties, and were those enthroned as the true parents of humanity. Only a small number of people were gathered at the time to celebrate this marriage supper of the Lamb, because the prepared foundation of Christianity had failed to fulfill its responsibility at that time. From now on, we should celebrate the holy wedding ceremony of true parents every year as the greatest holiday, and propagate the meaning of this day to all parts of the world. More than anything else, we ourselves should be reborn as the hopeful fruit of the marriage supper of the Lamb. We will need to continue to practice our way. We'll need to continue to practice our way of life as heavenly tribal Messiah, so that the blessing of heaven bestowed through parents' holy wedding ceremony can shine more brightly to the continuous birth of more and more blessed families. Points of contemplation. Let us deeply contemplate the meaning of true parents' holy wedding ceremony, which is the marriage supper of the Lamb, and its relation to our lives today. Let us think about ways by which we can expand the meaning and value of the marriage supper of the Lamb in our lives. Wow. Marriage supper of the Lamb. When I think of that, I think that was the greatest and most joyful moment for God, that He was talking about this 2000 years in preparation of humankind. Yeah, we see that Jesus died on the cross because of that, and we see the whole history of Jewish people in preparation for the Messiah. It was 4,000 biblical years, that could mean thousands, hundreds of thousands of years of preparation until one fruit, until this beautiful, holy, begotten Son of God was born on earth, Jesus Christ. Yet we see the pattern of Jesus Christ was one of suffering, of pain, of rejection, of humiliation from part of his family and part of Jewish people, and finally to open a path for humankind to stay in connection with God. He had to go on the cross, but not before promising to all of us his return, not before talking about the marriage supper of the Lamb and about his bride. And he said very clearly, I have so many things to tell you, but you cannot understand now. But when the Lord will come again, he will explain clearly. I strongly suggest you, if you are new on this page, if you are new listening this, please join Divine Principle lecture in order to understand the deep and profound teaching of true parents, Myung Moon and Hak Ja Han Moon. That really brings such incredible clarification. One Hoondokhae, of the previous Hoondokhae, we talk about the fact that all people of the world need true parents for salvation, and that go beyond religion, because God is love and love have no religion. When I think of the Merry Supper of the Lamb, I think on the celebration of true love, that love that comes directly from our heavenly mom and dad, that he, she, or how you want to call heavenly mom and dad, wanted to experience in the garden, even with Adam and Eve. As we read today, we come to realize that that was a fiasco, was a complete failure. God could not work through Adam and Eve anymore and break the heart of God, but also break the whole human race, because we come all through Adam and Eve. We all come with the stamp of fallen. We all come with the stamp of belonging to the lineage of Satan. That's why Jesus Christ was saying so clearly, you come from your father, the devil. Nobody can come to the Father except through Messiah. That's why Messiah is the key. Messiah is the key point. We cannot reach God. Doesn't matter how many conditions and how wonderful we are. The blood lineage, only Messiah can change it. That's why true parents, wedding, marriage blessing was the greatest victory of God in all human history. And I truly suggest you to study the life of Samya Moon and Hak Ja Han Moon. True parents, now they have their own autobiography printed out there as a loving citizen, as a loving global citizen, and memoir of Mother of Peace. I strongly suggest you to come to know these wonderful people, that they brought such a incredible victory, and they are still carry on fighting for saving all the people. Do you think that only 1,044,000 people mentioned in Revelation are to be saved? All people of the earth are to be saved, because all people of the earth are God's children. They open an incredible path for saving people, not only on earth but in the spiritual world too. It's really incredible, because no one ever experienced such an incredible path as true parents, and such an incredible grace as true parents pour upon us. We are grateful to our true parents for their holy blessing and restoration that they put upon us. I become a little bit emotional. I thank you for attending Hoondok Hae. I strongly suggest you to share with your family and with your community, and let's spread the news about true parents and how wonderful they are, and how many incredible things they have done and they are still doing. Words are so poor to express all love and gratitude, but I believe that any small step that we do in that direction can expand the kingdom of heaven. Cheon. As true mother say, peace start in me. As Jesus Christ said 2,000 years ago, kingdom of God is in ourselves. We have to work to build this kingdom of heaven in ourselves, to build the peace inside of us and to spread that, but not center on ourselves, not center our mind or our knowledge or power or money or whatever position, but center on true love, true life, and true lineage that come from our beloved heavenly parent, through the true manifestation here on earth, begotten Son and begotten daughter Samya Moon and Hak Ja Han Moon, true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Thank you for attending this Hoondok Hae. I conclude here, and I truly wish you a beautiful, gorgeous day. Bye.